Hello everyone, welcome to Promiseland. Okay everyone, you know what to do? Stand up on your feet. Alright, stand on one foot for a moment. Just one foot, don't fall over, keep balancing, and 2 feet on the ground. And your other foot, stand on the other foot, and back on the ground. Okay, and do a bit of a shuffle. Because now we are going to do the power shuffle.
Feel it in the air right now. It's all around, I see it everywhere. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. It's the power to move any star. It's the power to heal your broken heart. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. So don't hold back, no, don't hold still. God is here and He is real. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now freeze. And everybody clap your hands. Now stop. I feel it in the air right now. It's all around, I see it everywhere. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. It's the power to move any star. It's the power to heal your broken heart. It's the power. Yeah, God's power. So don't hold back, no, don't hold still. God is here and He is real. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. Let's do it all again right now. Take 4 steps to the left, to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it around and move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now take tiny little jumps forward to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jumps back, but you better look back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now freeze. And everybody clap your hands. Now stop.
Alright, good to do the power shuffle. Alright, everyone sit down on the floor. Great. Now, welcome to Promiseland. And if you're watching from home today, say hello. And if you are watching from the building this morning, say hello. Very nice. Now, as ever, if you are in the building today, then you should have leaders around you who can help you at any moment. Look at your leaders. Leaders, give everyone a wave. So there, your leader's going to look after you. And if you're at home, then your responsible grown-up hopefully will be with you to also help you. And what we're going to do today is something wonderful. But before we do the something wonderful, I want you all to look at the ceiling. And look back down here. Now this time when you look at the ceiling, this is if you're in the building, before I tell you to look back down again, count how many squares you can see. Go! And look back down and shout out how many squares you counted. Good! Yeah, lots of different numbers being shouted out there. Okay, all right, calm down everyone. All right, great. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to continue looking at this book as we always look at the Bible, or as we like to call it, God's Big Story. And you know now, hopefully, if you've been here the last few weeks, we've been looking at the story of Moses from the book of Exodus, yes, the second book in the Bible, in the Old Testament. And so we're going to continue looking at this story today. This is part 4. And what we're going to learn about is, we've been hearing about how Moses is someone who learned to always put his hope in the Lord. Everyone say hope in the Lord. And again, hope in the Lord. Moses put his hope in the Lord, but what about when he faced hard times? And what about when you face hard times? Well, that's what we're going to think about today. How can you hope in the Lord when times get really hard and you're not sure what's going to happen next, or where you are, or why you are where you are? Well, let's hear the story today. Watch and listen very carefully, because as ever, there's going to be questions following this video.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Moses. This is Moses, who was an Israelite born in Egypt, in a time when Israelite boys were not supposed to live.
Wait, huh?
Moses, however, grew up in the palace of the Pharaoh, the very man who was enslaving the Israelite people. When Moses grew up, he made a big mistake
Uh-oh.
and fled Egypt
Ah!
to live with the Midianites.
Ah.
But God called Moses back to Egypt
Ah!
to deliver his people with the help of his brother Aaron.
Phew.
After God showed his miraculous power in Egypt, he led the Israelites through the Red Sea and towards the Promised Land. They followed God, who showed himself as a cloud by day and fire by night. As God led them through the wilderness, the Israelites became thirsty and hungry. They complained to Moses and Aaron and said, "If only we had died in Egypt."
Huh?
God said to Moses that he would provide for his people.
Hey!
Each morning they awoke and found manna for the day,
What's that?
and each night God gave them meat. The people were still thirsty, and they were mad at Moses, saying, "Did you bring us out here to die of thirst?"
Yeah.
So Moses cried out to God, and God told Moses to strike a rock, and water came flowing out of it for the people to drink. And so the Lord provided for his people's needs. After traveling in the desert for 3 months, they came to Mount Sinai, and God called Moses from the top of the mountain. God spoke to Moses there of the future of his people and reminded him of the miracles of the past. After 3 days, there was thunder and lightning as a thick cloud covered the mountain. The people heard a loud trumpet blast. And Moses led people to the foot of the mountain to meet with God. God told them how his people were to live and how they were to honor him and respect each other. The Israelites had seen for themselves that God had spoken to Moses from heaven. These rules that God told them are called the 10 Commandments. And the Israelites feared God, for his mighty power had brought them out of slavery and provided for them in the desert.
Okay, so that story, you just heard that part of Moses' story was actually from a lot of chapters. It was from chapters 14 right through to chapter 24 of the book of Exodus. And now what I want you to do is, in a moment, you're going to get into your smaller groups if you're in the building, and in a moment, one of your leaders will tell you what the groups are, who is in which group. If you're at home, again, you can discuss these questions in a moment with those you're with. And whilst you're having this discussion, if you have a little snack or drink, in a moment you can go and get it and enjoy that whilst you're having your chat. So in your groups, you've got 3 questions. So before you move anywhere, listen to these questions. Firstly, what did you enjoy or find interesting about the story we just heard just then? And then 2 following questions. What happened when the Israelites didn't think they had enough food? And what happened when the Israelites didn't think they had enough water? So you've got a few minutes to have a chat about that, and then we'll come back together. All right, okay, we'll draw your conversations to a close and let's all come back together now, because we will discuss some things a bit more later and think about how you will manage when times are hard. Do you hope in the Lord? So maybe start thinking a little bit about that now. But before that, you know what it's time for. I know what it's time for. Everyone knows what it's time for. It's game time! Today, our game is loosely based on what we've been learning about. So in a moment, you're going to split into smaller groups, or if you're at home with those you're with, you can do this. And this game is called How Near Can You Get? So the idea is this. You get a piece of paper, and this piece of paper will be placed on the floor on one side of the room, and then you, the group of you that are playing this, will stand on the other side, maybe behind a line on the floor, and then each person takes it in turn, and what you've got to do is look at where the paper is, and you've got to make a guess as to how many steps it will take you to reach the piece of paper. So you might say, I think 6, so you have to say 6 steps, and then you'll have a turn to take 6 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, you're not going to do it forward, you're going to do it backwards. You're not allowed to look at the papers. You have to look, make sure you're not, we'll make sure you're not looking. And you have to take 6 steps backwards and get as near to the paper as you can, but without stepping on it. If you step on the paper, it won't count. Okay, so you've got to get as near as you can. And after everyone in your group's had a turn, the leader in charge will have a look and tell you who was the person that got the nearest. And the person that got the nearest will get a point. And then you can play it all over again and maybe move the paper somewhere else this time just to mix it up. Okay, so it's how near can you get? All right, have some fun. All right. That's the end of game time. Come sit yourself down. Sit down on the floor. If you thought that you did quite well at that game, say yeehaw. If you found that a bit tricky, say yoo-hoo. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It was all a bit of fun, hopefully, and to get us up and active. And maybe it will make you think a bit about the story we were looking at earlier, you see. As you were walking backwards, you're like, oh, I'm not really sure where I'm going or what's going on. Well, the Israelites, they wandered around in the desert for years and years, not knowing where they were going or what was happening. And it must have been hard to trust and hope in God. But they had to. And as we saw, when they did, God was faithful, wasn't he? He gave them food. He gave them water, and miraculously from the skies, it just appeared every day for them. Amazing. Now, I've got some questions for you to talk about in your discussing groups in a moment. So here's your questions. Firstly, what things in the world are hard for people right now? What things can you think of that you think, wow, this is a really hard thing to be going through for anyone in the world? Number two, what things are hard for you right now? So if you feel happy and comfortable to share that, you might want to share, actually, right now I'm finding this hard. Maybe this situation at school or at home or whatever it may be. And then number three, just talk about what did Moses do when things got hard? And number four, what can you do when things get hard? So again, you've got a few minutes now to have a discussion around those questions. So get into your groups and we'll come back together shortly. Well, there's quite a lot to think about there as we're talking. I don't know how far you got, if you got through all those questions, but hopefully it got you thinking about the story of Moses, but also how it relates to you and how do you trust God? Do you trust God when things get hard? And you know what? There's a verse in the Bible in Isaiah 41:10, and it says, "Fear not, for I am with you." And it's speaking about how God is with his people. And if you have given your life to him, you're one of his. And you don't need to worry or fear, because God, you can know that God is with you even in the hard times and times where you don't understand why things are happening the way they are. We can still not fear, we can trust God. So this song, we're going to sing a song now, and it's based on a Bible verse, and it's one hopefully some of you will know because we've done it in recent weeks in Promiseland when you've been at home. So I want you to stand on your feet, and this is a song that helps us to remind ourselves of who God is. It's very powerful. So I want you to follow the actions, but also try and remember the words as you kind of sing them. And you're learning part of the Bible as we do this song. So stand up on your feet and let's sing and join the actions to this song.
Isaiah 41:10.
All right, well, just as we finish singing that, I want us to just spend a few moments now back in our groups and just spend a few moments praying together. And what I want you to pray is along the lines of this. You can pray some thank you prayers along the lines of, thank you, God, that I can trust in you and I don't need to fear because you are with me. And you know all my needs and you know what's going to happen. So it's thank you prayers, and you can pray anything about that and along the lines of anything that we've been learning about today. So it'd be great to hear you pray, and it's good to pray out loud if you are able to, because it helps and encourages others as they hear you pray. And it doesn't have to be a big, long, fancy prayer. It could be a very short prayer. But God knows your heart and He hears you and He loves to hear you pray. So let's spend a few moments praying in our groups. Amen. Amen. It's good to declare our trust in God and speak to Him and pray. Now, we're going to, coming to the end of our time, we're going to sing a song in a moment. But before we do, everyone put your elbow like this. But don't hit the person next to you. Careful. Okay. And the other elbow like this. And pretend you're grabbing hold of two things and pull them. Ugh. I don't know what you just pulled apart. Maybe you pulled a banana apart. Maybe you pulled a piece of paper apart. maybe you pulled a big rock apart because you're really strong. All right, well, we're going to sing a song now. It's called I'm Trusting You. And it says, wherever you lead me, I'm going to follow. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Just like Moses would have sung. And hopefully this is a song for your life, that you can always trust him and follow where he leads you. So let's stand up, let's join in the actions and sing this song.
What's next? I wanna face this world with wonder and excitement. Face every challenge, every day. Wherever you lead me, I'm gonna follow. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Life will be crazy, wild and amazing. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Wherever you lead me, anything can happen. Can't hardly wait to see what's next. I wanna face this world with wonder and excitement. Face every challenge, every day. I'm gonna follow. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Life will be crazy, wild and amazing. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Wherever you lead me, I'm gonna follow. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. Life will be crazy, wild and amazing. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. I'm trusting you, God. You are good. I'm trusting you, God. You are good.
Woo! Okay, everyone sit down. Oh, no, stand up. No, sit down. No, stand up. No, sit down. No, sit down. Sit down. Yeah. Well, that's the end of our time together this morning. But if you are in the building, there might be time just to do something else. I don't know. Listen to your leaders and see what they tell you to do, and listen carefully. But it's been wonderful to join together again. And if you're at home, wonderful that you're still joining as well. And see you again for more Promiseland next week. Bye-bye.